Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight's story isn't about a haunted house, a cursed object, or a ghost in a small town. It's about a couple who got trapped in the middle of a remote jungle where something unseen stalked them, turning what should have been a simple breakdown into a nightmare they could never escape. It all started as a scenic road trip. Sarah and Jake were driving down a secluded jungle path, heading for a small cabin they'd rented, far from the noise of civilization. The sun was setting, painting the ancient forest in deep shades of orange and red. The couple joked and laughed, completely unaware of how truly isolated they had become. Suddenly, their car shuddered violently. A plume of smoke curled from under the hood, and the engine died completely. Jake desperately tried to restart it, turning the key again and again, but the engine wouldn't even turn over. They were stranded with nothing but dense, unfamiliar jungle surrounding them in every direction. "Maybe someone will pass by soon," Jake said, trying to sound hopeful, but his voice was laced with nervousness. The forest was unnervingly silent. There were no birds, no insects, not even the sound of wind rustling the leaves. Just an oppressive darkness creeping in as night began to fall. The couple decided to stay in the car while Jake, using his phone's flashlight, tried to figure out what was wrong with the engine. That's when Sarah noticed something strange just outside her window, footprints in the mud around the car. They were large, uneven, and seemed to drag, as if something with long, awkward limbs had been circling them. Then came the sound. It was a soft, chilling whisper carried on the still air, calling her name. Ra. It wasn't Jake. The voice was desperate, hollow, almost like a distant, distorted warning. Panic began to set in. They grabbed their flashlights and cautiously stepped outside, their beams cutting through the thick darkness. The jungle felt alive now. The shadows between the trees seemed to shift and move unnaturally. Jake shone his light toward a rustling bush, but there was nothing there. Yet the whispers continued, growing louder, closer. That's when a figure emerged from the darkness. It was tall, impossibly gaunt, and its skin was unnaturally pale. Its eyes seemed to glow faintly in the night. It didn't walk, it glided, moving silently over the uneven ground, and then, behind it, dozens more appeared. Dozens of shadowy figures, all with the same hollow, glowing eyes, all fixed on the terrified couple. Jake grabbed Sarah's hand and they ran, scrambling toward what he thought was the road. But the jungle seemed to twist and turn around them, disorienting them, whipping them back toward the broken-down car. The shadows followed, moving impossibly fast, their whispers turning into high-pitched screeches that echoed through the trees. They desperately tried the car one last time. For a single hopeful moment, the engine roared to life. But then it exploded in a cloud of thick, black smoke, leaving them completely defenseless. Sarah screamed as one of the shadows reached out, its fingers long and skeletal, brushing against her shoulder. But when she spun around, nothing was there. Or so it seemed. Hours passed. Exhausted and terrified, the couple found a small clearing and huddled together, trying to hide. It was then they realized the figures weren't just outside the trees anymore. They were all around them, their forms blending perfectly with the darkness. The whispers became clearer, forming words. "You belong here. You'll never leave." In a last desperate attempt, Jake pulled Sarah to her feet and they sprinted deeper into the jungle, hoping to find another road, a way out. But the jungle was endless. Every path they took just led them back to the same clearing, where the shadows were always waiting. Then Sarah tripped and fell hard. When Jake helped her up, he froze. Her eyes had changed. They were pale, hollow, and black. She slowly smiled at him, but it wasn't her smile. It was the same empty, chilling grin he'd seen on the shadowy figures. The last thing Jake remembered was the whispers completely surrounding him, coming from all directions, even from right beside him. "Now you belong too." When a search party finally arrived days later, they found the car abandoned. Its doors were locked from the inside. There was no sign of the couple, except for their footprints, which led in frantic circles around the clearing before simply disappearing into the darkness. The search party never found them, and sometimes travelers who pass through that area say they hear whispers calling from the jungle at night. Two voices, a man and a woman, laughing together in the dark. And they say if you answer, you may find yourself trapped there forever, wandering among the shadows, becoming a part of the jungle's growing collection of lost souls.